So we are now up to 7th in the blacklist altogether, and where our next opponent on the blacklist is Hector... No, let me rephrase that. Sorry, my brain froze for a second there. Let me try that again. And where our next opponent is Hector Domingo, where his ride is a Lamborghini Gallardo, or Gallardo as I prefer to call it, and his strength is photo tickets. This here is Ming. He prides himself on keeping his ride looking stock. He's fast and shreds radar traps everywhere he can. He's the straight goods. Word is he got his ride from some rich cat who talked when he should have been listening. Don't take him on until you're ready. Trust me, Mr. Game Description, I won't. So this is our cutscene for Ming. No dialogue involved, of course, and he's definitely wearing what I think is a tracksuit. And yep, that is one stock car. Although then again, it's technically a Lamborghini, so you kind of would expect it to be stock anyway. But anyway, that's who we're racing next. And we also get a description about the helicopter.
Hey man, you got a serious buzz going. I mean, people from all over the place are tracking what's going on. Cops are going nuts. You have 5 blacklist racers left, and 2 of them are Razors boys. Stay on track. We're getting close. See you later.
Mia, I think that has just given me enough motivation to quite literally go for another hour through however many races have to be done next. I also said in the previous episode I was going to catch up on the most recent text message sent to me from Rog, and it's a tip on roadblocks. Once your heat gets high enough, the police start blocking the roads to try and stop you. Each roadblock will have its weak point. Some of the roadblocks won't cover the entire road, so the best way is to go around the cars. For the roadblocks that have the road covered, look for the sawhorses. They're usually a weak spot. If you come round a corner and find a roadblock, don't forget to use Speed Breaker to get a little extra time to maneuver before hitting the block. Aim for the cars in the back half. They're lighter weight and provide a better chance of escape. At the higher heat levels, watch out for the spike strips. If it looks like there's no car blocking part of the road, take a closer look. You might be getting tricked into driving over a spike strip, which generally ends with you getting busted. So basically, that tip of advice is don't hit the spike strips. The cops call out the location of the spike strips to make sure that other cops don't hit them, so keep your eyes and ears open. Will do, Rog, will do. Okay, so now that Kazi has been defeated, we are going to save the game before we continue this, because, well, since I do not have autosave switched on for a few good reasons, we are also halfway through the game now, and we have 234 grand in our pocket, which means we will probably need to do some more grinding once we are done with these next few races. So How many races do we have to do this time? Oh, we need to do 11 races this time. And one of them has to be a drag race. Why did it have to be a drag race? You know what? I think before I get on with this, I'm just going to do myself a favour and... Why do I keep doing that? I don't know why I keep backing out, I really don't. It's obvious to say you cannot back out in order to get back on the road. You have to press cruise for some action to do that. I don't know why that keeps happening, I really don't. But at least I can say my heat level is low. And before I do anything else, well, I have got to put some more performance parts on this thing before we go racing again, because I am convinced in saying these next few races could be tougher for me otherwise. Or for us, I should say. So gonna put on some performance parts, and then we will go racing. Right, okay. I'm going to pretend whatever did just happen, did not just happen. And because, well, I did manage to get through some events, but when I was doing a toll booth event, I also encountered cops. And basically, about less than a minute later, I made a colossal mistake, and that was basically what put me in the shit house. So before we get on with this, we did manage to unlock an engine upgrade, and I am going to fit that. I did at least make sure to save the game before getting on with this, because, well, that's the appropriate approach to take. And now I need to get back in here, because we have now got a new engine upgrade. That's not where I meant to go. Here is where I meant to go. So, a new engine upgrade is now ours, with racing valves, a catback exhaust system, and we get to replace the headers as well. That's the only upgrade we have available to us. I know this because I did this once before, and I think because it's a different episode, I'm now going to put on a different vinyl and see what there is. Because why not? And wonder what unique vinyls we have. Oh, it's just these two. Okay. Well, wonder what stripe vinyls we have. Just to make this more interesting. Okay, not really that many. Wonder what body vinyls we now have on this thing. You know what? I am putting on that body flame. And I am going to change that from yellow to... Yeah, that'll do it. That's what I like. Yeah, let's totally do that. Okay, now that that's done, let's actually get on with some racing. And where, first and foremost, I am obviously going to get the drag race out of the way first of all, because, well, to put it simply, I've said this many times before, and I will say it again, but in this game, I hate drag racing, as we are now at Riverside and Terrace. So we've got an Evo 8, a Golf, and a Mercedes CLK 500, is that? Okay. We got through the fuck you race. Because that's pretty much what drag racing is. Especially at high speeds. So Alan finished second, with Simon third, and Wingnut in fourth. Okay. And just so I prove that I have got a plan to approach this, we are going to do the events with minimum cup probabilities before we do the maximum. Because it's obvious to me that with the minimal events, there's a safer chance of me not getting busted. Whereas with the maximum events, I probably will get busted, since I know this is one interior subject I cannot treat as flippantly as I did before. So we're going to do the events with minimal risks first, and then we'll do the events with maximum risks afterwards. So this time we've got a Renault Clio with a Lexus IS300, and I think that's a Cadillac. Yep, that is a Cadillac. So since we're now in the upper echelons of the blacklist, it's probably easier for me to approach this with the added incentive of going through the events with minimal cup encounters, compared of course to the events that will have maximum cup encounters. And with me also doing plenty of reloads to make sure that I still hold on, of course, to my basically get out of jail markers, which I know is something that will be important when we get further and further through the game, and there are no shortcuts there. And so far, so good. So Ricky is one of our opponents. We also have Sparkplug and Speedster among our other two opponents. And bolting across the line at 177, Ricky finished second, Speedster third, and Sparkplug in fourth. And I set the highest overall speed with 181. Then it was Speedster with 168, Ricky third with 167, and Sparkplug fourth with a top speed of 166. So these are your race results again, and these are the stats, including the sector times each of us set. Okay, next. I would consider doing that sprint race next, but at the same time, I have to make sure that I am doing this proficiently, as we're now past the halfway mark of the game in completion. And the other two sprint races, they do not provide too much risk with the feds, so we're going to do those next, as our next one is Highway 201 and Lions. So this time we've got a Lotus Elise with a BMW M3 GTR street version and a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8. And under the circumstances, we are not doing too badly. And I completely lost all attention with where I was going. However, it does not take me too long to catch back up to the leader after I basically went headfirst into a wall. But I managed to catch back up to Butler, who is in the Lancer. I have taken the long way round, which means I could lose time. And no one else follows me, and time I lose in the end, it doesn't matter, because I retake the lead. And on the brakes for that right-hander, could have used that stadium there as a shortcut if I really wanted to, or the stage set I could have used as a shortcut. But at this time, I'm just glad to say I'm working with what I have. So Butler is still in second, then we've got Anderson, who is in third, and Tinker is fourth. And with a speed of 99, I finish in 2 minutes and 7 seconds. With a top speed of 189, and an average speed of 130. I think it pretty much goes to show how fast my car is, and we've got another text message from Rog. Performance tuning might help. You can't always run the same setups for every race if you're looking to edge ahead of the competition. Think about tuning the characteristics of your car to get the right balance for a specific race or race type. Pay attention to your gear ratios. If you're on a tight track with lots of corners, having more acceleration might pay off. If you're ripping up the highways, you might want to slide the performance over for more top speed. There are lots of options, so don't forget to give them a try. Making a smart tuning choice might make the difference between winning and coming in second. You can find the performance tuning in the pause menu. Thanks again, Rog, greatly appreciated. And now, that is 3 of the 11 race events now done. And we have got another one to do, and then I think after that we'll get through the lap knockout races. So we've got an Audi TT, an Audi A3, and a Porsche Cayman S in race 4 of Blacklist 6. I know the strategy I am going with, and that is why I am choosing to get through the events with minimal cop risks, compared of course to the events with maximum cop risks, which will definitely be more of a growing issue as we go further and further through the game. As a matter of fact, it's already a growing issue now. But that is why I decided to reload the game and basically change my approach. And so we continue to move forwards over Lowrider, Chrome and Closer. As we're now past the halfway mark, I currently lead by 3 seconds. And it looks as though my superior top speed is helping me out a bit. I have not hit anything in the road. And hitting 180 as I go through this right-hander. And now we are going pretty much full send for the rest of the run as I almost hit top speed. I hit the left side wall as I went through the tunnel and through another toll booth, and now gonna belt it right for the line as I set a speed in the end of 195. Chrome finishing second, Closer third, and Lowrider finished fourth. As I set the top overall speed with 196, then Lowrider and Closer were tied with 183, and it was Chrome who set a top speed in the end of 185. So basically a 10 mile per hour speed difference behind me, more or less. And an average speed of 141, so not bad. Anyway, that's another sprint race done. And now that we're done with that, dally-hoo, let's get through our next few races. So we've done 4 events now, and I think what we're going to do next will be the lap knockouts, as we've got Coastal and we've got Rosewood Hillcrest. That's what we're doing next. That's what I've decided. So we've got a Lamborghini Gallardo, a Chevrolet Corvette, and a Mercedes CL500, is that? I think that's the CLK 500, if I am not mistaken. I would have to check visually to be sure, but I know that's definitely a Mercedes. I could never quite work out what the differences are between the CLs and the SLs. They're both quite similar to some degree, but I always have trouble figuring out which one is more striking than the other. So Roger runs second in the Lamborghini, then it is Macca who is in third, and Chrome is running fourth. as I run into a pedestrian car. But at this time, we're doing okay. And we are getting closer and closer to reaching the upper echelons of the blacklist as I run under the water tower. That probably did distract my opponents a little bit, but either way, we are doing okay. And Chrome is the first to be gone. So Chrome is out, that leaves 3 of us remaining, as Roger now takes over the lead in his Lamborghini Gallardo. So I have got a pretty big battle here. It's basically a battle for superiority between the Lambo and the Mustang. But who will win? Hopefully it will be me. So, still moving forwards. And really trying my hardest to make sure that I get something to work. And off the throttle and on the brakes, I can definitely hear that growling V10 in the background. He now shoots ahead of me again with his superior acceleration, but I am keeping tabs on him. We are really dicing it for the lead. That second lap definitely went back and forth. I have a feeling this lap is going to be more or less the same. Maybe I should have looked at my performance tuning. But my car is still running good for now, so if it's running good, well, I basically just don't need to change anything. Plus, performance tuning is not really one of my expertise subjects when it comes to racing games. I don't exactly benefit from car fettling, if you understand me. As in, tuning in most areas, unless it's for improving speed, yeah. That's not really my thing, personally. I'm not exactly a mechanic, you know. I'm just a guy who likes racing games and also likes driving cars. But in a close-fought battle with Roger, I emerge victorious over the Gallardo. And that was a pretty close race as well, I might add, as Roger set a top speed of 145 and an average speed of 99. However, I had the highest average speed of 103, and I won in the end by 4 seconds. Then Maka was third with 157. Actually, the top speeds of the other two were much faster. Krim set a top speed of 154, and Maka set the highest overall speed of the race with 157. However, I still managed to come out on top, and right before the cops get involved, I simply excavate myself from the highway, as I am now up to 254 grand. Which means I'm earning money, and I am earning money big time. So we are now going to get through the second lap knockout at Rosewood Hillcrest. This time we've got a Toyota Supra with a Renault Clio, and I couldn't quite see what the other car was. Subaru Pretzel. So High Beam I think is the one in the Subaru. Okay. So Bunny is the one in the Toyota, and that means Inez must be the one in the Clio. I think that's right. Yeah, it is right. So Inez is the one in the Clio. As I get a little push from behind in my supercharged Mustang, I get a little bit of oversteer through that right-hander, but able to correct it as we now head through the 90-degree right-hander. And Bunny is basically nowhere to be seen because he was stuck in the wall. So Inez now moves up into second with High Beam running third. I think Bunny is going to be the first to go because, well, he clouted the wall, is what me thinks. And that's a taxi. But either way, I lead the first lap with a margin. And High Beam, after being second early on, winds up going out at the end of lap 1. So that just leaves me, Inez, and Bunny. Inez is the one in the Clio, and Bunny is the one in the Toyota. As I hit one of the pursuit breakers, and just so I don't have to go through these races again once I'm done with them, I will remember to save the game, because that is what I do, or it is what I prefer to do. Even though I am basically doing these races in no particular order. I am simply just getting on with them and that's it. And Bunny, after clouting the wall early on, he makes his way back up to second, so I think it's fair to say that Toyota is fast. However, he has still not managed to catch up to me yet. And because I have just been steadily holding on to my race lead up to this point, and just basically taking care of the car whilst I'm at it, I have simply been, well, to put it simply, untouchable. And Bunny must have wrecked himself again, so I think it's fair to say this race is over. Providing I do not have any major oopsies from here. I believe this race to be over, and it is. With a finishing speed of 1:30, I win in the end with a time of 3 minutes 32, and a top speed of 174. Bunny set the highest overall speed with 198. Inez was the slowest with 170 in the Clio, and High Beam set 186. So I'm going to assume they were not hitting as many objects in that latter part of the course as I was. But it doesn't really matter because, well, at the end of the day I still won. And won by less than 7 seconds no less, with an average speed of 126. And that is the important stat. It's usually average speed that turns out to be what's bestest in the long run. I'm getting a lot of money from these race events, if I do say so myself. And, well, we've got through most of these. But I think we'll get through the Speed Trap event next. I think we'll get through the Speed Trap event next, because this also has a minimal risk. And also because, well, we only have precisely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 race events to go. So let's get through the speed trap next, on Highway 99 and Campus. We have another Mustang. And we also have a Lancer Evo 8. And I think that's a Porsche Cayman I just saw there. Oh, correction, that's a Porsche Carrera. The Porsche Carrera GT, to be more precise. But I do set the top starting speed with 163. So we have a Porsche Carrera GT in this race, which means things are going to get very interesting. However, they won't stop me from being quick, as the speed I set in Speed Trap 2 was 169, which is enough to keep me ahead, and there are probably going to be cops involved eventually. This time setting 145 and running into the back of the Porsche Carrera. And this time we are doing okay. And yep, that is definitely a Porsche Carrera GT. I think I did actually encounter one of those in, I think it was Hot Pursuit 2 when I used that car. Except for saying it was a concept version. Because, well, the Carrera GT did not officially release until, I think it was 2003 when they released the Porsche Carrera GT. And my consistent speed setting is proving to be good, and that's what's going to help me win. I'm going to assume Patrick must have been the one in the Porsche Carrera, because he's at 765, and also because, well, that Porsche was fast. So Hermpton finished in 3rd, and it was Speedster in 4th. And a speed variance in the end of 20. And I won in the end by 65 miles per hour over Patrick. At least I can say Patrick is not as fast as Patrick Mahomes. Because I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes is quite fast. Anyway, that's now 7 events down, and I think what we're going to do now is we might as well get on with the other speed trap event whilst we're at it. And before we do this, I will save the game so no progress is lost. And also so I don't have to do the other races again if I do reset the game. If I do have to reset the game. But anyway. So we've done 7 race events now, and we still have another 4 to go. 7 of 11. Let's now get through the second speed trap race at Boardwalk. So we have now got an Aston Martin DB9 with a Cadillac CTS and a Mazda RX-7. Here in what is now race 8 of 11. it's another speed trap event, and we are inevitably going to encounter cops here at some stage. So get that out of the way, setting a opening speed of 181, and doing good once again by setting 160, and it's now put me behind the Aston, and this could be a close one. And 147, I am now behind, which means I have got to get the power down with this thing. I have got to make sure I fight back. Nope, not this time. Okay, 132. Cops are inevitably going to show up before this thing is over. And it looks like they'll show up any time. And yep, there they are. I think I might be at a top speed deficit here, potentially, to that Aston Martin. But I am keeping it close. And now I hit the wall. So that means this run is going to be dead. Because I don't think I am going to win. Unless I can really manage to limit the mistakes from here on out. And I think I actually just might have won this race as a result of me being ballsy with that last speed trap. However, cops are also involved, so I think it means we could be in danger, but that's okay because I still win the race with a top speed in the end of 934 miles per hour. And I only just won that race in the end over Chung. He was definitely the one in the Aston Martin, I know he was. Then we had Smith in third and Marbach finishing fourth, with a speed variance in the end of 17. That was the difference between first and second. I basically stole it right at the end, and that was what it took. Anyway, now we gotta get the fuck out of Dodge. Because that is going to be important for us, is what me thinks. And oh, what do you know? It's that same area again. Oh, that's a Burger King. You ain't shutting me down just yet. Can I please escape? Okay. That's one way to escape him. Okay. Now I need to head this way. I'm obviously not taking that tower because I know that tower could be an issue. Okay. Can I get to the cooldown spot, please? Yes, I can. Made it. We have fleed the cops, ladies and gentlemen. Even though we did not beat any of our bounty requirements. But whatever, it's fine. We got to the hiding spot, And now, all we have to do is get on with our next race event. So we have 3 events to go now. We've done both speed trap events. I think this is where we're going to be more in the meat of the progress now, as all we have left are these 3 toll booths. We've got interchange and tunnel, then we've got penitentiary, which is a long one, and last but not least we've got highway 201 and forest. So you know what, I'm going to get this one out of the way first, because why not? So here we go for our first toll booth event of Blacklist 6. And we have a total of 6 toll booths to get through. Cops are inevitably going to show up to this one. However, with the other 2, I'm hopeful in saying they will not be as present. But I did manage to escape him last time, so hopefully I will be there to escape him again. Also, I would hope.
Channel 3 be advised, a reckless driver has just been reported heading southbound on Union Road. On Union Road, correction. I need a unit to clear.
So cops are definitely going to show up before this is all said and done. It was precisely what happened with the speed trap event that I only just won last time. And so, we will see how we go. So that is our first toll booth over and done with. And yep, there is the cop I was waiting for. Alrighty. I did at least remember to save the game prior to doing the maximum cop probability events. So if I do have to go through that speed trap event again, it at least means I will not have to do the events prior to this one. So I will use a pursuit breaker to see if that breaks them off, and it does. However, they will show up again. Shows up basically a split second after the fact. So we've still got another 3 toll booths to go. And it looks like things are going well for me and my Mustang. We still have another 3 toll booths to go, and almost gushing into that left side wall, and this road is familiar. Ironically, the same roads I was driving at the start of the game.
Units heading up to the pursuit call. Be advised, suspect was last reported heading south past the project. Supervisor requesting you set up a quadrant ASAP.
And that's a wall.
Units remain on code 6 status till further notice.
So, we're doing okay at this stage. Got a little bit further to go. I think I just fleed the cops, so we should be okay. And a finishing speed in the end of 166, with another 12 grand being mine, and a top overall speed in the end of 193, with an average of 134. Those are my sector splits for the toll booths, and I think the cops are gone. Never mind.
10:59. I'm gonna pin him when I get a chance.
Well, it almost worked. I should have just went straight for the cooldown spot. I think that's what my strategy is going to have to be from now on. Anyway. We continue to drive onwards. And that is now the end of the pursuit. As long as there are no more cops, we should be okay.
Containment to be set up at 10 block radius. Stand by for updates.
Can I get to that cooldown spot?
This is Charlie 2-4. We're crowded fast, just south of that area. All other Delta units, keep your ears on.
Come on. Come on, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in. Okay, we're in.
Yeah, we're gonna run this way.
Thank God. Okay. Well, it's more bounty points, so whatever. Okay. So we're done with the events with the maximum cop probabilities now. Hopefully the other two toll booth events will go just as well, as we have now passed the 300 grand mark. So I think I'm beginning to believe that grinding is probably not going to be needed from this point on, depending on how much more money I make. Anyway, on to the next one. Penitentiary. Just having a sip of water, and we are continuing to make gradual gains. Alrighty. Let's actually make sure we do not make the same mistake we did before, as this time I lift off the throttle and do not plough into the wall. And at this point, we seem to be doing okay. I have a lot more time on the board compared to before, and I do make the first sector split with a few more seconds to spare. We've got through the events where we were at maximum risk of encountering cops, so hopefully these other two should be okay. And it also means I can put my Mustang away with only heat level 2. May not be heat level 1, but heat level 2 is still not bad, if you consider everything else. So we have now made it through 3 toll booths, and we still have another 3 to go, as we have now passed the 50% mark. And now what that means is we could be in for quite a battle, as we're now in downtown Rockport, and that is now 4 toll booths said and done. Up to this point, we seem to be doing alright for ourselves, as I take a shortcut Was right on the rev limiter there with that one. And now we just have one to go. So we're moving along nicely as we head through the tunnel. And hitting another water barrel. And I think I probably took the less speedy way round. But that's okay because I still have plenty of time on the board. And right before losing control. Okay, now this could be a problem. Although it doesn't matter because I still make it with 10 seconds to spare, in spite of my very shitty ending. But whatever, I still made it with plenty of time to spare, and I had an average speed in the end of 138 with a top speed of 190. So I think that's all of them. Well, almost all of them. We still have one more, if I recall correctly. And quite surprisingly, this has only taken me less than an hour to get through all these. So most of these have been pretty easy. But now we've got one more, Highway 201 and Forest. And then we are done with the race events. So one toll booth event remains. And we'll see how we go. And so we will try again. And make sure this time we do not miss the jumps that may be in front of us. Because we cannot afford any mistakes with these toll booth events now. We have actually got to be on it. We've really got to put in our A game if we are going to be successful with this. Because the margins for error are very tight. And some of which we ultimately cannot afford, to put it simply. So we are 2 toll booths down. And I go straight for the wall. However, I do at least manage to get myself back on track. And hopefully that was not as costly as me stopping dead before the jump, which is what happened last time. And had 2 close calls there, but able to achieve avoidance on both sides. I slipped through there, and I managed to get away with no real repercussions. Come on, make it, make it, make it, make it, make it, make it, make it. I just made it. Somehow, I don't think I'm gonna make the last one, because I just hit the toll booth. It's gonna be very close over whether or not I can make the last one, because this one has been pretty tight. it's got some very tight margins for error, from what I can see. Okay. Come on, make it, make it, make it, make it, make it, make it, make it. We're there. With 3.6 seconds to spare, we got there with a finishing speed of 183 and a top speed in the end of, 197 this time, and an average speed of 155. Still, I had to be on my A game to get through those toll booths the way I did. I really had to make sure that my run was almost near flawless. But either way, we did it. And that is now another one bites the dust. And that is all of them. As we have now moved up to 55% completion and $326,000 in cash. And yep, that's all of them. All 11 race events are now done. And next up will be the milestone events. So, going to save the game now, because I have to. And those were the race events for Blacklist 6. So, next time, on Need for Speed Most Wanted, Racing Ming.